Today we're going to make chocolate mousse chia pudding. So I had a happy accident yesterday and I'm going to share it with you. I was over at the vegetarian baker site, Jake's site. If you haven't seen his stuff, he's really good. And I saw a recipe for a chocolate milk and it looked really, really rich. It was a chocolate almond milk. Well, I didn't follow the recipe all the way through. And so when I put my chocolate milk in the refrigerator overnight to cool, this is what happened. So I got this delicious, moussey, fantastic product that I wasn't expecting, because obviously I was expecting chocolate milk. So good. So I added a few chia seeds and I reworked the recipe a teeny bit, and I came up with a Jake inspired chocolate mousse chia pudding. It's dairy free. It could be almost sugar free. It depends on the kind of chocolate you use. So you have a choice. You can use an almond base or a coconut base. Since I've already done a video on how to make almond milk, and I'll put a link to that video here. Today we're going to try coconut milk using dried coconut. So I'm going to use basically the same technique as my video using almond milk. And as always, the full recipe with directions is just below this video. If you click on the About tab and Show More down there, you'll find the whole thing. So into our blender, coconut flakes and 2.5 cups of water. So if you want to sweeten with dates, you can add between 6 and 10. 8 is really nice. It's a really sweet, but you still get a little bit of that bittersweet chocolate, a little bit of that bitter bite. 10 makes it really sweet. Or you can try palm sugar. I haven't spoken much about palm sugar. You get it at Asian markets, and it's less refined than cane sugar. It generally comes in little pucks. Sometimes you can get it in a little jug, and it's formed, but it's still really soft. So I'm going to go ahead and use palm sugar in this one, and I'm going to use 1/3 of a puck and a pinch of salt. Once your coconut pulp has been squeezed out, you can set your coconut milk aside. We're going to measure out our chocolate and melt it. So when you're melting chocolate, you don't want to put the pan directly over heat because chocolate scorches really, really easily. So you make a double broiler. And all that is one of my mixing bowls set over a pan, a small pan, with about 1 inch of water in the bottom. And I'll bring that up to a simmer and then just turn it over low, and we'll put the chocolate in the top of the bowl and just stir it for maybe 5 minutes until it's melted. So while my chocolate is melting, we're going to make vegan whipped cream. It is fantastic. You're going to need a can of really cold coconut milk, and it needs to be in the refrigerator for at least 10 hours. I always keep a couple cans in my refrigerator so that I have them on hand if I don't plan ahead. So this is just regular coconut milk. When you take it out of the fridge, be cognizant of how it was sitting in there. Flip it over and cut off the bottom. We're going to pour out all of the liquid and just keep the cream. Pouring out the bottom is easier than scooping all the cream off the top. So anything that pours out you don't want. Don't throw away the liquid coconut milk that you drain out of the can. It's fantastic in your smoothies. That leaves us with a really nice thick coconut cream. Go ahead and put that in the bowl of a standing mixer, or if you have a handheld mixer, just in a mixing bowl. Add a little sweetener. You can use honey, maple syrup. I'm going to add just a little more palm sugar, keeping with our palm sugar theme. And about a tablespoon, maybe 2 teaspoons of vanilla. We're going to whip this on high for 6 minutes. And you can refrigerate this and it will last for a couple of days, which is really nice. And it holds up well enough that you can frost cakes with it. You can add in a little cooled melted chocolate. You don't want warm chocolate, it will just separate. But cooled melted chocolate and make a cocoa frosting that's dairy-free. So our whip is ready, our chocolate has been melted. We're going to take about a half a cup of our coconut milk and we're going to stir it into our chocolate. And you want to stir it really well and get it integrated. This is like tempering your chocolate basically. This is going to keep it from separating. If you were to just pour your chocolate straight into the milk, if the milk was cold at all, the chocolate would just seize up. So this just helps get it all integrated. Now we're going to add everything but our chia seeds to the bowl of our blender. Blend this for just a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds. The thing with chia seeds is they swell up and absorb so much liquid, and so they'll get really thick and they kind of get, I don't know what you call it, chia bound in the bottom if you don't stir them. So give them a good stir, let it sit for about 5 or 10 minutes and give it another good stir before you put it into the fridge to cool. I'm going to show you how to make a pastry bag out of a Ziplock. So fold over the top of a small plastic bag, enough to cover your hand. You want to grab the pastry bag like this because when you're putting your filling in, you want to be able to scrape it off of the side of your hand without getting goo all over your skin. And fill up your bag. You can also store this whip inside the pastry bag. Just twist off the end and put a rubber band on it, and then you can pipe it again next time you need it. Like so. I zip it part way, but I leave a little air hole so you can squeeze out some of the air. And you just want to push it all down into one of the points, and then you snip off the end of the bag. And that's it, you have a pastry bag. Dollop of pudding.
So good. Chia seeds are the richest plant source of omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids reduce inflammation in the body. There are a lot of claims on the internet about chia seeds reducing appetite because they swell to, I think, like 11 times their size. But I couldn't find any studies that were conclusive, or at least that I thought were conclusive. But I did come across some really interesting studies on how chia seeds help control blood sugar. So diabetics are encouraged to eat chia and add it into their diet because they affect and they slow down how our bodies convert carbohydrates into simple sugars.
So good.